Hey man, it was a mix up. It was a mix up. Technical difficulties. Thank y'all for staying in and tuning in and staying right here with your boy, man. Because sometimes it get like this. Sometimes we get a little technical difficulties in this. You dig what I'm saying? So just to get back on topic, you know what I'm saying? I'm glad y'all can join me on the show today. Just join me in, and you know what I'm saying, we can get this going. You feel me?
Hey man, it's your boy Ski Todd. Hello world. Come to tell y'all to tune in to that Real Street Blend, where you can get real street news, real street situations, real street outcomes, you know what I'm saying? And some shit that you might can use, you know what I'm saying, if you in the streets, you know what I mean? Like, we ain't trying to come and bring you no fugazi bullshit. We ain't trying to tell you about nothing we ain't been through or no news you can't use, you know what I'm saying? Tune in to this Real Street Blend. Hello world, family matter.
Hey man, tune in to Real real street blend, man. Real street shit, man. Real talk, man. We following this shit. We got there. We're moving right now. Real street blend. Real street niggas. Hello, world.
Welcome to be here, Whitey. Have a great show.
Yo, look at this family.
To understand the present, we must look at the past. The relationship between black men and women has deeply affected the historical trauma, deeply affected by historical trauma, slavery and segregation and systematic oppression. The legacy of chattel slavery stripped black families of their unity, often pitting men and women against each other in the struggle for survival, right? The separation of families was a tool used by slave owners to maintain control. Black men were seen as threats, while black women were objectified and dehumanized. This created a ripple that has echoed through generations, leading to misunderstanding and mistrust between black men and women. If we fast forward there to the civil rights movement, when black men were often put in the forefront as leaders, while black women were sublined despite, their critical contributions, this dynamic created a narrative that marginalized the voices of black women and contributed to an ongoing gender feud. And even today, the intersections of race and gender often lead to black men and women feeling that they must compete for recognition and support rather than collaborating. This division is not just a personal issue, it's a societal one. And I want y'all to remember that it's definitely a societal issue. In recent years, social media has amplified the feud. Black men and women often find themselves in an echo chamber where grievances are aired out publicly, leading to further division and miscommunication, and stereotypes perpetuate a cycle of blame. And let's not forget, y'all, the influence of pop culture, music, movies, and reality TV often portray negative stereotypes of black relationships. These betrayals reinforce harmful narratives that pit us against each other rather than showcasing our strength and resilience as a united front. So we got to pay attention to a lot that these people are doing to us, because if we don't, we're going to oversee the real reason to why we battling each other. This is where the real issue lies. Instead of addressing our differences and healing, we are distracted by the drama. The focus is on our feuds. It derives us from our attention from the systematic issues that we both face. Issues like mass incarceration, economic inequality, and racial discrimination. We need to recognize that while we may have our differences, our collective struggle against white supremacy and systematic oppressions should unite us. But instead, we often find ourselves at odds with, exactly what they want. That's why they capitalize off this. That's why they make money off this. This is how white America make money off of this. White America has a vast interest in maintaining the divide between black men and women. By fostering discord, they can profit from the resulting tension, whether it's through media, representation, or consumer products. Our pain is their commodity. From the fashion industry to the music business, companies capitalized on the stereotypes of conflicts. They market to the insecurities, feeding into the narrative. We do that a lot, and we become divided. This creates a cycle where our issues become their profit. And let's not overlook the political landscape. Politicians often exploit these divisions to gain support, reinforcing the idea that black communities are in conflict with each other rather than focusing on the systematic issues that affect us all. And if we look at Trump right about now, that's kind of how he gained the trust of the black community. He kind of like, fed into like, okay, black communities are disproportionate. Black communities are ravaged. People are fighting each other. People are battling. So I got a plan for you guys, and we always fall for the okey doke and then just go along with it. That's why we get people in power that mean us no good, that has no type of positive outlook for our communities or to help us really, because the systematic issues still remain in effect. But one thing I do know, we have the power to change the narrative. By coming together as a community, addressing the grievances, and supporting one another, we can dismantle the structure that thrives on our division. The step, the first step is recognizing that our strength lies in unity. And you gotta remember, if you don't remember anything else through the way that I just laid this out to you guys, community is unity. All of this is an outline of how in the beginning, through the middle until now, they play upon us and pit us against each other, which created the put the woman in the position of having to play the man of the house because they over policed our communities and pulled a lot of men outside of the homes through mass incarceration. A lot of the black men that was locked up during the 1980s and so forth and so on, were actually locked up for nonviolent crimes. So by pulling the man outside of the house, it made women have to stand in position of a man for a long time. So the gender roles kind of switched there. You know what I'm saying? They switched there and they have remained there and have yet to return to normal in most cases. Don't get me wrong, you still have feminine women out there who know how to love, care, and nurture. But you also have a large group of women that play a man's position. They tough, they stand on their strong and independent mindset, and we got to understand that that's not natural, that's not normal, and that's not nature in itself. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just gonna also explain to y'all how mass incarceration has left the black community in ravage, and how some of this stuff is continuing today. And this is what I mean by systematic, issues, systematic racism. So mass incarceration has devastated black communities across America since the war on drugs in the 1980s. Millions of black men have been in prison, often for nonviolent offenses. This systematic issue has not only stripped fathers from their home, but also created a vacuum in the family structure. As black men were removed from their roles within the family, black women have been left to navigate the complexities of single parenthood. This shift has forced many women to take on dual roles, both nurturers and as providers. They have had to step into the shoes of fathers raising their sons in a society that often marginalizes them. This situation places an immense burden on black women. While they rise to meet the challenges, they often are met with societal pressures and the expectation that can be super overwhelming. The absences of a father can lead to a sense of loss, confusion for young boys who may struggle with identity without a male role model in their presence. And that's why we have a large community of we have a large LGBT community when it comes to black men who really don't know their role or really don't know how to act as a man, because they seen mama switch and mama papa throw a hand and roll her eyes. So those characteristics, carried on and carried over into the man's character, at one point in time. And that's why we got a large population of people of men in fact that comes out as bisexual or transgender or any of those type of whatever they say it is, whatever identity crisis that they go through, they kind of get that during their struggle when their single mother has to battle between being a father and also being a mother. So they don't know how to decipher between the two because the mind is so young and it's so manipulative that they only catch on to what is intriguing to them, to what is most notable to them. So that's one thing that a lot of our youth battle with today because they have it's a large impact on youth and their identity. And our government definitely knows that. That's why they play. That's why they still implement certain criterias within the black community and don't plan on giving no resources or help. The absence of fathers can have profound effects on black boys as they grow. Without a father figure, they may seek validation and guidance elsewhere, sometimes falling prey to negative influences. The risk of involvement in gang culture and criminal activity is increased when the lack of a positive role model is involved in the child's life. And while many black women do an incredible job, don't get me wrong, of raising their sons, the societal narrative often fails to recognize their sacrifices. Instead, it perpetuates the stereotypes that blame single mothers for their children's struggle, overlooking the systematic issues at play. However, the pressure on women to fulfill both roles can lead to emotional and mental strain. They are expected to be strong and resilient, yet reality is that they need support too, you guys. The community must come together to provide some type of resources and mentorship for these families. The path forward requires our collaboration. We need to create spaces where black men can reintegrate into their families and their communities after incarceration. This includes addressing barriers that they face upon release, such as, employment issues, discrimination, and social stigma. Mass incarceration has a profound and multifaceted effect on relationships between black men and black women, influencing family dynamics, social structures, and community cohesion. Here are several ways in which I feel like, what I'm saying, mass incarceration impacted our relationship. And one of them I feel like is number one is family disruption. They totally dismantled our families. They totally destroyed their dynamic of family. They brought they brought in so many issues when they took the black man outside of the home. You know what I'm saying? And then a lot of these women, I'm giving my 100%. Uh, I'm giving my 100% praise and gratitude to the women that actually stand up and speak on these type of issues. For one, because it's a lot of women out there that actually feeds into the system. They feed into the child support system. They feed into the independency mind frame and saying that I don't need a man. I can raise my kids on my own. And a father can be well off and be out here actually, providing and doing things, and they'll still keep the child away from the father, which creates a void in their child life for him to grow up inside of a community where he has no structure and no guidance to actually be a man because the mother has took the man away from him because of her feelings of her or her emotions or her ego to be the man of the household because of a certain amount of time that she had to be there to be a single parent. But that is a choice. I just want to let people know being a single mother sometimes becomes a choice, and it's not something that most women have to deal with because from my experience I have seen women with great children fathers, or they had great fathers who were productive, who were workers, who provided, who were very creative. But it was something about the mother's ego that kept that child away from the father. And then when that child grows up to become um, something that she claims or she says that she didn't have an input in raising, she blames it on the father because, in fact, it's actually the mother's responsibility to make sure that child has a relationship with the father, as well as the father's responsibility to be there for their child. But if the mother takes their responsibility away from the father because the courts and the system sides with the mother more and creates all these stipulations, that creates a void in that child that has that child resenting his mother and also resenting his father, which turns him to the streets or her to the streets and creates what we have today. A large group of adolescents, a large group of kids who are just willing to do whatever. They're willing to kill, they're willing to take, they're willing to steal, they're willing to do whatever. So one thing I do know is that, sometimes it takes just letting go of the ego, just to let the pride roll and just be, in harmonious, a relationship with your other part, your counterpart, your significant other who once was your lover. You know what I'm saying? So somebody who you had children with, I don't think you should bow to them or put them in a place where it's 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 get to the point where I resent you because I was never able to or be allowed to be a father, and or vice versa. Because there are some men out there that have custody of their kids, and the mother is playing their side or playing their role. Where of the father is what I'm speaking about right now. You know, the separation of parents. When black men are incarcerated, families are often faced with significant disruption. The absence of a father or parent can lead to a lot of emotional stress, and that's for both parents, the incarcerated parent and the parent that's out freely, still taking care of the home or the household. So we got to understand, like, it's a lot of barriers, it's a lot of abandonment going on in these type of situations, in the mindset of a child. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes that child may wonder, where is my father or where is my mother? Sometimes it gets to that point, but we definitely gotta, do better as a community, as a people. Because for one thing for sure, if we wanna make any type of progress, it has to start with the youth. And if we are ruining the youth before the youth are able to become strong and progressive people, it starts in the household, and we got to nurture that. And if we can't nurture that with a good relationship from mama and from daddy, then we'll never get to the point where we actually can free ourselves from the bondage that we are caught up in. But in the meantime, you know what I'm talking about. In between time, I'm gonna take y'all to a quick commercial. About, and I want y'all to know this. I want y'all to always understand that y'all can go to Family Magazine Coffee and get y'all a cup of that good old coffee. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't talk all day, and I can't have you tired. So guess what? You go to Family Magazine Coffee and get you a cup of that coffee. I promise you, you can listen to me all day. But in the meantime, between time, once I catch this commercial, you did. You want the best coffee? I'll get you a bag of that Family Matters coffee. I'm telling you. Yeah, you woke all day. Back to the office to me though. I'll catch y'all later. We're gonna go into we're gonna open up the lines for one. So available to call in, how you can call in. Be the perfect time for you to get your thoughts out, get your comments out, whatever you want to do without having to type it over the screen. You know what I'm saying? You can really sit here and have a conversation with your boy. So if you really want to get in before the show ends, call lines are open, the number is on the screen. I want you guys to take full advantage of this because Be Here with YB is a full blown community, and I want you guys to be a part of it. Without you guys, there's no me. If I don't have nobody to talk to and sit here and get his knowledge to, then hey, what am I here for? So the lines are open. The community is valuable, and you can maybe give somebody else some type of insight on what you have heard today, or you might have an opinion of what you want to talk about. So let's go to the line. Welcome to Be Here with YB.
Yeah, on the line, on the line.
What's going on, man?
I see your live episode. I call in and kind of, elaborate on where you going with this at.
Well, what we going, how we, what we doing right now is, we talking about, the gender roles, the gender switch, the history behind the gender roles and the gender switches. What I mean by that is, from the time of slavery up until the present day time, they have been manipulating us into the point to where we actually have battled each other versus battle the system that they have put in place to even make us look at each other as enemies or to fight each other. We have women who play masculine positions, and then we have men who play feminine positions, which offsets the house, and there's no balance within our community sometimes. So that's basically what this topic and this conversation is about. But do you have any type of opinion towards what I have just said or what I'm talking about on this show today?
I think it's more like economic pressures too. Both men and women are facing economic challenges. For especially for us women, for us women
Right.
too. Their job security. And then everybody facing rising living costs.
Definitely.
And wage gaps. You know what I'm saying between the two. And that they cause economic anxiety. Contribute to both genders. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So instead of them addressing the situation, they try to use use the situation as a scapegoat.
Yeah.
Rather than attacking the issue.
So let me
But I
ask
think,
let me ask you this before you continue.
right,
With the current situation that we have right now with black men and black women and how we battle each other, right? For ego, for egotistic ways, or for a position in the household, you know, do you think that at this present point that we'll ever get to a point to where that is not the case within the black household?
I think we have a lot, a lot to do. Let's see. Okay, how can we fix it? All right. I think we can fix it by, okay, let's just say like, you remember the saying, kitchen in the bedroom, Thelma, the kitchen in the bedroom. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Right.
Ain't no chore, got no, no certain gender to it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I think we can start there in the household,
Mm-hmm.
and I think we can start by, by embracing adventure.
Right.
So, like they said, make toys be toys instead of, this toy here for this girl, this toy for this boy.
Right.
Just buy a lot of goddamn toys. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Can I curse on the live stream?
Yeah, you most definitely can do exactly what you want. This is Be Heard with
Right.
YB.
Okay.
Lines
Be
are
her
open.
YB. Okay.
And I also gotta
Yeah,
ask you, do
man.
you think that love and respect plays a major role inside of the dynamic of the black man and black woman and how they treat each other as far as like gender roles are concerned?
I most, I most, I most definitely do think that. I think a woman should wear her little gear and a man should wear his drawers. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And everybody should, you shouldn't have no woman stepping up to be, even though, we were raised, that shit started like in the mid 19th century.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Where they start trying to make, cause problem between the black, the man and the woman,
Mhm.
try to separate the two, but I think gender roles are, they very harmful to society,
Right.
and I think everybody should, play their part. If you're a woman, be a woman. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to be that masculine, make that man feel unmasculine.
Right.
I think, you some men get challenged by that. I think some men get challenged by it if a woman makes more money than you do.
Exactly.
You know, so that kind of try to question a man masculinity right there.
But at the same
Make
time,
him question
I'm
that.
glad you said that because but at the same time, okay, if a man get upset because a woman makes more money than him, he got to understand that the factors of a woman making more money than him is not his issue for one. And the
Right,
reason why I say that is because we have been placed inside of a society where okay, this is marketed like this in a way. Okay, women can have certain positions and certain jobs that they can come into very easily. You know what I mean? And for one, when it comes to black men, most black men come home from prison or have felonies on their record, right? This is a high probability, or this is a high percentage of us. So with that being said, a lot of those jobs that a woman can get, because most times she's never really in the street, she never really has a felony, she never really goes to jail. You understand? It's the black man that they want, that's the target. They get pulled out of the household and sent to jail, get felonies put on their record. That's to also eliminate them from the job market. So when they go in to try to get those good jobs, or get a job that pays them a reasonable wage, or a wage over the amount that it takes to survive, those jobs are denied due to the record. So if he was in it, if a man is conscious enough, he should understand that part of the social norm is not in his route. You know what I mean? But at the same time, that doesn't cut off your creativity for you to create a job, for you to do what you need to do for yourself. You know what I mean? I think
Right.
when it comes to, when we talk about men, I think that we can also put ourselves in our own positions and weigh out our own wages and profits. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to sit here and just go for the commercialized warehouse job, or the commercialized just working for somebody else. You know what I'm saying? I also promote entrepreneurship and being able to work for yourself and get your own money. You know what I mean?
Right. I feel like women are more likely to live in poverty and economic insecurity, partly due to the lack of constitutional safeguards. So,
Right.
I mean, if the Constitution, if it's directly targeting black men and taking them out the household, I mean, I think that's a litigating factor too.
Right. I agree with that 100%.
Right. So yeah, I'm not biased with what you said. Yeah,
All
you
right.
you are most definitely correct.
All
But
right.
everybody got their own opinion, man. I was just calling in to check in with you, YB.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, where you calling from?
I'm calling from Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona right now.
All right. I appreciate you for calling in, man. You have a good day,
You too, YB.
sir.
All right.
Yeah, man. The lines are open, man. If you feel the need to get on the show and talk what you talk, you know what I'm saying? You get on this show and talk what you talk. If not, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just keep going on and deliberating into this topic, into this conversation. But the gender roles of a woman and a man, they should never cross. But at the same time, we shouldn't battle each other or feud with each other, due to the fact of I think you should play this position, or you should play this position. It should be a pyramid. You one side, I'm one side, and we come in to try to rise to the top. You know what I'm saying? This is something that we all should do together. I see a lot of couples and a lot of people battling at this present time, in this moment, in today's time. And I don't know if it's in the era or what, but a lot of my friends and my people, what I'm saying, are battling to keep their significant other, or to, just figure out what they want to do in life. So, but one thing I do know that plays a major role with it in that is that a lot of people don't understand where to stay, and what position to play in the relationship. So when it comes to black men and black women, I know it's a lot of societal issues that we face that creates a tension between us. And one thing that the black woman has to understand when it comes to the black man, that he's out there he's out there 24/7. You know what I'm saying? And the things that he faced before he comes before he comes to, you know come home, he may have been through a lot. You know what I'm saying? The black woman, I just wanted to tell y'all that for any woman who has a black man, you have to understand that this man goes through a lot before, when he walks out the door and when he returns. So just have some type of compassion and sympathy for that factor. You know what I'm saying? Because that can also, create a lot of tension within the household, and then it'll feed itself, and then spill over into your relationship and the things that you're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? I have a comment, one of the comments here from Kaylee. It say, YB, what are some practical ways that you think men and women can come together and support one another in everyday life beyond parenting and family life? Well, one thing I want to say is that you to come together, first of all, it got to be some type of ground and blueprint to, you know, what it is that each individual are trying to do. there should be some type of goal setting. There should be some type of plan and play. You know what I'm saying? Because if every day we wake up we don't have nothing to do, you don't have a task, I don't have a task, it can create some type of tension. We're spending too much time around each other. We're spending way too much time with each other, and not enough time trying to progress and build something. So for that factor, it should be goals in place. It should be things that the assignments assigned to each other to where I know I'm going out to do this. You know you're going out to do that, and that should be something that brings a man and a woman together on any spectrum of life. You know what I'm saying? Having that mindset to go out and try to create something out of nothing. You know what I'm saying? Or create something that you guys have always wanted to do together. So that is something that I feel like is something that'll keep a man and a woman, sustained in a relationship. Because at the end of the day, too much time around anybody will have you strained and don't want to be around that person. So create some type of goals, create some type of avenues that have you want to just, make something of yourself or do something for yourself, and also do something for the person that you with. You know what I'm saying? Outside of parenting or whatever family life that you have. So that was a good question. Thank you for that question. But back to the topic at hand, a lot of stuff that we deal with can be handled, can be straightened out. You know what I mean? It can be took care of on many different levels. So I just want you guys to know that you have to look at so many avenues when it comes to the gender role switch and man and woman and how we battle each other. We shouldn't be battling each other on this level. Social media plays a big role in it. I just want to let people know social media plays a big role in it. People on social media are not real people. I just want to say that out loud. I'm not saying that for the people that you know personally, that's friends that you have friended, but social media are not real people when it comes to real issues that you are facing in life. There's no way you should go out and blast your life and everything that you deal with over social media to let the world know this is what I'm going through, because it invites other people into your mix, and potential energy seekers, people who come to steal the joy of whatever it is that you're going through. You know what I'm saying? Steal your energy and play on and manipulate whatever situation that you're going through. I have seen a lot of my friends, a lot of my people, you know what I'm saying, get upset with their significant other and run straight to social media. They run straight to social media. They air out their whole life story. They tell about everything that's done happened. You know what I'm saying? And then when it comes time to fix the issue, everybody knows about the issue. And then you feel some type of way when it comes down to the fact of you trying to fix your issue, but everybody knows about it. So that's something that I feel like a lot of people do when it comes to relationships. They go run to social media. Social media is not your friend when it comes to you trying to fix and build and construct what is yours. You know what I mean? So please, people, stay away from the social media. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So, yo, I don't know what this comment. This comment is not coming through. I gotta send it again. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that comment. It ain't coming through. But we definitely gotta we definitely gotta do it. We definitely gotta do something with each other. You know what I'm saying? So y'all gotta forgive me for this, because sometimes a lot of these comments be coming through, and I be trying to also read them, but sometimes when the data is too long, the prompt will tell me that the data cannot come through, and I'm just like for whoever tried to send the comment to try to send it back again, maybe shorten up your text or something, and then we can probably progress with their comment. But in the meantime, in between time, um, I want you guys to understand that one way that we can as black men and black women um, get our communities together is to create a foundation of a household. We have to create a foundation of a household. It has to be a man and a woman who umbrellas their children and grows their foundation. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't worry about the outside. Don't worry about what else everybody else is doing. Leave other people's lives where they are. Don't try to chase nobody else's life. Don't try to be nobody else. Don't try to do what anybody else is doing. Do what works for you and yours. and then you build off of that, you progress off of that. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot that we have to do as individuals. Also, as black men and women, I also think we need some type of counseling, some type of form of counseling because we deal with a lot of trauma. There's a lot of mental trauma, family trauma that thrive through our families and our communities. It's a lot of family secrets, a lot of family issues that are never discussed, that are never talked about. People never talk about them. Um, and I feel like that's one of the issues that also strains us out because we'll be mentally dealing with something that we have dealt with in the past. And one thing about it is that we can never get past that because we have never dealt with that. So we'll never be able to love the person that we are trying to love because we are too busy fighting the demons that's in our mind from family trauma and family issues. So that's something that I also feel that we should grab a hold to some type of counseling, some form of a support team where people can actually sit and actually talk. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing that I feel like is 100% real. So yeah, that's what that. I'm glad y'all actually stayed here this long with me. I done broke the barrier a little bit. I got a certain time frame on how I do these things, but due to the technical difficulty, I done ran into some issues. But I'm glad y'all stuck through this episode with me, and this was an episode that I'm glad that I got to do. That I'm glad that I got to speak to somebody, and also read a couple comments even though one of the comments is not coming through to that person. Like I said, it got your name and everything up there, but it doesn't have a comment. It's blank. So I want you to resend that. If you can hear the sound of my voice, resend that comment because I would love to read it on the show. But if not, we're gonna just have to keep going. But in the meantime, in between time, I'm just glad that y'all could join me on today's show. And I want y'all to have a beautiful afternoon. I'll see y'all later on tonight. Matter of fact, stay y'all make sure y'all come back and see me, man, because I'll be back on live tonight and we're gonna get more deeper into depth about a lot of these issues and topics that we are saying. Okay, I got another comment to come through. See. The truth is, many of us are healing from generational wounds, both inflicted and inherited. Black men are learning emotional intelligence. Black men are reclaiming softness and safety. I agree to a certain extent of okay, I got you. Okay, many of us are dealing with generational wounds. That's one thing that I was talking about the family secrets. A lot of family secrets are the wounds. A lot of things that mama can't talk about, auntie can't talk about, things that uncle did, things that different people have done, you know what I'm saying? So when it comes down to it, there's a lot that's unhealed. So when it comes to black women, I believe it's more dealing with black women than black men. Don't get me wrong, I'm not taking anything from the black men saying that you don't have those wounds and you don't deal with that generational trauma, but I feel like it's more with the women because women were more subjected to, being touched on, something being done to them. Just like black men also dealt with the same issue. I have heard stories of some that have been in that type of situation, and also it plays a role into their lifestyle, into how they grew up. But most times, I feel like it's dealt with black women, and then when a black man gets with a black woman, or a woman and a man gets with each other, I'm just saying in general because for one, when a woman is dealing with any type of trauma or anything of that nature, um, it's just that. It's just she's battling herself consciously in her own mind while trying to be physically present in the relationship that she's in. And and one thing is canceling out the other to where she can never fully be in the present with that person. And then it creates the strain within the household because she's unsettled. And then it pushes the man away because the man is, he's receiving that as like, okay, is this for me or do this person want me or however they make them thoughts may transition. That man is looking at that woman like, okay, this might not be for me, but don't even know that she's dealing with eternal trauma. it's inside of her. It's inside of her mind. She never dealt with it as a child. So one thing I think within our black families is that we should definitely expose a lot of the the family secrets and lay that stuff out, man, and let these people heal because a lot of people cannot heal until a lot of things are discussed and talked about. And I say that from firsthand experience from my family. A lot of things will that's been swept under the rug and they talk about don't talk about it and you will learn out when you will figure it out when you get grown. Talk about this stuff now, get that stuff out the way and let people know who real and who not. You know what I'm saying? Because you born with family, but at the same time, you don't have to remain around somebody who done played other relatives or other family members to a point to where they are traumatized for the rest of their life, and it shows into their relationship and into their feelings. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of black women are reclaiming their softness. I agree 100%. But at the same time, a lot of black women are struggling with their eternal trauma from childhood and family secrets. And that's a topic for another day. We'll discuss that on the next episode of Be Here with YB. I'm glad y'all can be in attendance with me. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for sticking it out with me through the technical difficulties. Next time we'll have everything on point. We'll never go through this again. But understand though, if y'all can go back through this episode and take something forward and take some key points out of this, you know what I'm saying, and talk about it and discuss it with your people. And you know what I'm saying, you tell me how they feel. Until next time, you know what I'm saying? You dig. I'm gonna get over with y'all.